Shalom. We're back on another video. So before I get started, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kwadash, to the elder apostles and elder bishop of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor, Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. Shalom to you all. We're here with another lesson. I'm going to call the Israeli government and most of its people are hypocrites. So we're going to look at some of these articles, maybe go through and read some. You got here, said Israeli strike killed 44 in Gaza as hunger death rises. You got another article that says the UN says at least 1,760 killed while seeking aid in Gaza since late May. Let's go a little bit into that article. Okay, this from the Defense Post by staff writer with AFP, August 16, 2025. UN says at least 1,760 people killed while seeking aid in Gaza in late May. The UN Human Rights Office said Friday that at least 1,760 Palestinians had been killed while seeking aid in Gaza since last May, to a jump of several hundred since its last published figure at the beginning of August. Since the 27th of May, and as of the 13th of August, we have recorded at least 1,760 Palestinians have been killed while seeking aid. 994 in the vicinity of the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, sites, and 766 along the route of supply convoys. Most of these killings were committed by the Israeli military. The agency's Office for the Palestinian Territory said in a statement. This compares to a figure of 1,373 killed, the office reported on August 1st. The update came as Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said at least 38 people were killed by Israeli fire on Friday, including 12 who were waiting for humanitarian aid. The Israeli military said its troops were working to dismantle Hamas' military capability, adding its forces were taking precautions to migrate to mediate Salakia, civilian home. And that's all we need to get on that. As you can see, these people were just trying to get aid and were gunned down. There's many stories like this to where I seen one with a Palestinian boy had thanked an ex-U.S. soldier who went over there as a humanitarian. The man said the boy just wanted to thank him for the food and aid that they were getting him. He said once the boy walked maybe 3 miles down the road, they heard gunfire erupt. Heard a lot of people had died, and when they went to see him, that same boy that gave him a hug for helping him ended up losing his life that day. But you say anything bad about them, and the first thing they won't holler about is the Holocaust and anti-Semitics. But yet they doing things that was supposedly done to them in the Holocaust, and they're freely doing it. I mean, they love to bring up their history, so they know what happened. And yet they're putting that same kind of hate and discrimination on the next fellow. So how can a people who went through such evils turn around and do it to somebody else, then try to remind you of the evils that they done went through? Basically being a hypocrite, man. Let's see. Fears of total media blackout in Gaza intensify as journalist death toll surpasses 180. Let's go a little into that. The politics The fears of total media blackout in Gaza intensified as journalists' death toll surpassed 180 by Akbar Shahad Ahib 2 days ago. The Huff Post on Wednesday on an X account belonging to Anas al-Sharif, a Palestinian journalist with more than 500,000 followers, announced a new mission to be the voice of Gaza resistance, extermination, injustice, and betrayal to keep the coverage ongoing. 4 days earlier, the Israeli military had targeted and killed al-Sharif and Al Jazeera correspondent in a drone attack. 5 other reporters also died in the strike, pushing the death toll among Palestinian journalists since the start of the U.S.-backed Israeli offensive in Gaza above 180. Their death has spurred global condemnation and driven concern about Israeli limiting what the world knows about Gaza, where it is preparing to expand its campaign, where it is not allowed international journalists to report freely throughout the nearly 2-year war, and fresh calls to prevent a total media blackout. You see, man, that right there just shows you the wickedness of the Israeli government as well as the American government, because they don't want the truth to get out there. They know people already are against the so-called Jewish man for the thing that they're doing in Gaza. Heck, so-called Jewish is against so-called Jewish because of the thing that's going on over there in Gaza. But like I said, you say one thing bad about them, they love to bring up their Holocaust, but yet they're doing Holocaust-like actions. Increasing, let's see, Israel kills 22 in Gaza, including 13 shot dead, waiting to collect food aid. Look at that, man. Civil defense, 46 killed in Israeli attack across Gaza. These are just a day ago. 5 more Palestinians starved to death in Gaza as Israel attack killed 89 in a day. That was 5 days ago, man. Look at this. This is just pure and utter wickedness by these so-called Jewish people. And along with America, because they're backing them, they're helping them do this wickedness. The reason why I say they're doing Holocaust-like actions, because I took the time to look up some of the stuff that went on during the Holocaust. And you can see that while a lot of other Israelis are mad at their government because they love to push that remember the Holocaust thing too when they feel scared, then now they're doing that action. They understand they can no longer use that as a defense. Because soon they say that, somebody gonna say, well, y'all doing the same thing in Gaza. Y'all did the same thing to the Palestinians. All right. Let's see. The AI overview. I asked it, what are some of the things that happened to the Jews during the Holocaust? During the Holocaust, the Jews endured systematic persecution and mass murder orchestrated by the Nazi regime and its collaborators. This period of terror encompassed a series of escalating measures designated to isolate, dehumanize, and ultimately exterminate the Jewish population in Europe, like they're trying to do now. Key aspects of the persecution include legal discrimination and restriction. From the Nazi takeover in 1933, Jews were systematically excluded from public life throughout discriminatory law. They were banned from certain professions, faced boycotts and of their business, and were stripped of their German citizenship, effectively becoming second-class citizens. Like the numerous race laws codified these restrictions and further marginalized Jews within German society. Now, they're not doing this, but let's see some of the other stuff they're doing. Propaganda and socialite pressure. anti-Semitic propaganda permitted all aspects of German life, fostering hatred and prejudice against Jews. And if you remember, before all this information got leaked out about how bad they were doing the Palestinians, this was the same thing they started with. They came in and bombed us. Hamas started the war. They shouldn't be backing Hamas when these people weren't even backing Hamas. Now they fought to be after Hamas, but yet regular civilians, women and children, old men, they're laying down like basically a dog in the street. They're firing upon them for people, as you see, people who just coming to seek aid. They're shooting them down. Then if you go in the comment section, the first thing they say, well, they shouldn't have backed Hamas if they didn't want this to happen. They shouldn't have started a war. How did these people start a war? Hamas is not their military. Hamas is supposed to be a radical group that's just out there. But yet, let them tell it, because Hamas did this, this is allowing the Israeli to perform this genocide that they're doing on the Palestinians. Segregation and violence. Jews were forced to wear identity badges like the Yellow Star of David that were subject to public humiliation and organized violence. Now, they're not being segregated in the sense of from the rest of how should I say it, from the surrounding nation, but they've been segregating in Gaza into one spot though, and they're definitely facing violence in the everyday life. The way I look at it, some of these humanitarian aid places need to be checked out as well, because it seems like the moment they open up shop and say, hey, we got aid out here, and the people come running, that's when the military are already some kind of way to set up and start firing upon these people the moment they try to run for food. So they're experiencing violence on a greater scale than what the Jews did during the so-called Holocaust. Because there's time when you can go out there and get food and nothing will happen. And there's time when you go out there and get food, man, they might fire upon you. They might bomb you to death. They might have a tank shoot. It's just, then there's the starvation. But these are the people who love to say, remember the Holocaust. Remember what we had to go through. And yet putting these people through a worse situation. You got mass shootings, see? Following the invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941, German mobile killing units. I'm not even going to attempt to say that word. Let's see. I don't have to say it, but I can get this thing and say it.
Einsatzgruppen.
Let's try that again. I think it said Einsatzgruppen. Let's try that one more time.
Einsatzgruppen.
Yeah, that word. Massacred millions of Jews, Roma, and Soviet civilians in mass shootings. And that's what they're doing now. They're doing that to the Palestinians. But still want to holler about, remember the Holocaust. As soon as you tell them, hey man, what y'all doing is wrong and y'all are monsters for that. Oh, remember the Holocaust? Remember what we had to go through? Yeah, we do remember. And the fact that you're doing this, do you? Do you remember the thing that you had to go through, supposedly? Death marches. As the war drew to a close and Allied forces advanced, Nazi executed prisoners from concentration camps, forcing them to death march, while many died from exhaustion, starvation, and exposure. Yeah, for these people to just go get something to eat and try to come home with it. Then just to get shot, because remember, the Israeli military forces all over the place. So they know what's going on. So they watch these people get food and make their way back home just to kill them. Just to mow them down. So just a few of these things they supposedly went through during the Holocaust, yet they're gladly and happily putting these Palestinians through the same thing. But you know what the scriptures say about a hypocrite and a hypocrite in his joy. We're going to get that. This is Job 20:5. That the triumph of the wicked is short and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah. The joy of the hypocrite is only for a moment. Before we go, we're going to get that word hypocrite. Because even though they're taking pleasure in doing these acts in this genocide, it's only going to last for so long before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to put them through their own paces. Because you just ain't going to do this, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is not gonna put you to judge you for it, Salaki. That's what I meant. He's not gonna judge you for it. Because we know blood defiles the land. And they're defiling the holy land with all this killing and mass murder. None of this stuff is justified. They just doing it. So they will have to pay for those wicked things that they did. Alright, hypocrite. Strong H 2611.
Strong's H 2611. Hanaf.
Strong definition. Hanaf from Strong 2610. Sword, i.e., with sin. Imperious. Hypocritical, godless, profane, hypocrite, irreligious. Yeah. These godless people, man, because you don't fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to be willing to shed blood in his land. That's his favorite land. You don't mind putting these people to death. So that's why the Lord is like, hey, y'all joy is only gonna be for a moment. Because they don't fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Why? Because they've been able to get away with this stuff for a long time. No judgment has come from the Most High, so they feel like, hey, he must be okay with it. Not knowing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua just letting them stack their sins up to the heavens. That way, once he really come down on them, he's gonna have a perfect reason. And there's not gonna be anybody who's gonna want to help him. Or the first thing they're gonna say, man, remember what they did to them people in Gaza, to the Palestinians? Remember the wickedness that they did and nobody did nothing about it? Yeah. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua has got them set up in a trap that they can't escape. So because of that, because they don't see it, they're gonna continue to do the wicked kind of things that we have read about. The killing of the people who going for aid, the starvation of millions. They're going to continue to go this route because they feel like judgment will never get there. We're going to go here. Ecclesiastes 8:11-13. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the son of men is fully set to do evil. Yeah. Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua hasn't passed judgment upon them yet. They heart, which means their mind, is fully set to do the evil that they are doing. And not only do it, but to continue to do it till they get everything that they wanted. Verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged, yeah, though they doing all this wickedness, the starvation, the bombings, the death, the lies that they're telling, and it seems like they're going to get away with it. Let's see what the Lord say. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked. Neither shall he be prolonged in his days, which are as a shadows. See? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is not going to prolong his days. When that destruction come, man, it's gonna seem like something sudden, just out of the blue. Because he feared not before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. So even though it looked like that their days are prolonged, that judgment will never reach them, Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai is not gonna forget it. And when that judgment comes, it's gonna be instant. It's gonna be instant, it's gonna be swift, and it's gonna be one of those things where people like, man, damn, that's messed up. Think about some of the floods that went down over here in Babylon the Great, or across the world, especially here. What there was sometime last year when all those sundown towns got drowned out. Think about all the wickedness they had done to so-called Black, Latino, and Native American. For them, it seemed like nothing was never going to happen. Then suddenly, just one day, Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai wiped their ass out. The same thing is going to happen to these so-called Jewish people. It's going to seem like they on top of the world. Then suddenly, when that destruction comes, as the scriptures say, hey, there won't be no help for them. Especially with all the things they have done. All right. I'm going to go here. Psalms 10, 5, and 6 in the AMP. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgment, Yahweh, are on high out of his sight. So he never thinks about them. See? He never thinks about those judgments when they come upon him. Remember, why? Because those judgments not executed speedily for the evil works that they perform. So with all the wicked deeds that they're doing over there in the Holy Land, they think because Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai hasn't done anything, it's out of their mind that he's going to pass judgment on them. Like, man, the Lord ain't going to mess with us. We good. As for all his enemies, he sneers at them. We're going to look up that word sneer. Sneer. A contemptuous or mocking smile, remark, or tone. And if you been reading or watching the news, watching the videos, we'll see Netanyahu and the other Israelis, even in the comment section, mock these people as they're dying, as they've been laid waste to. So he mocking his enemies, but not thinking about the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai. Why? Because the judgment for the wicked deeds that they're doing is not coming speedily. Just because they're not coming speedily don't mean they're not coming. That's two different things now. Verse 6, he says to himself, I will not be moved, for throughout all generations I will not be in adversity, for nothing bad will happen to me. And that's the way they're thinking. Nothing bad is going to happen to us. We can do all this wickedness. It's okay for us to be hypocrites, to whine about all the evils that was supposedly done to us. We can do it to other people. The Lord ain't doing nothing. He ain't passing judgment. But Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai, eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. So for all these wicked and evil things you've done, when the Lord recompense you for that, when he pays you back for all that wickedness according to your ways, hey, no one is going to mourn it. No one is going to cry. No one is going to be like, man, I wonder why the Lord did that to those people. No one is going to feel bad for when you get done to what you've done to someone else. Because that's how Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai work. He's gonna pay you back for whatever evil that you've done. So if all you did was so evil, the Lord is gonna give it to you back tenfold. And we're gonna end out on that in Jeremiah 32, 17 through 19. The point is in 19, but Jeremiah gave the Lord such praise, I felt like I needed to start at 17. Yahweh power, behold, thou hast made us the heaven and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. Yeah, there's nothing too hard for Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai. Verse 18, thou showest loving kindness unto thousands, and recompenses the iniquity of the father unto the bosom of their children after them. That goes into that reincarnation. I'm not saying he's going to recompense their children, but when those fathers who die and be brought back through the bloodline that they set out through their own sons, when they come back, hey, that iniquity they did in their first life, Yahweh Shem outside recompense. The great and mighty power, Yahweh of hosts is his name. Yeah. Great and mighty is our power, man. That's why we got to return back unto him. Verse 19, and here's the point. Great in counsel, mighty in works. For thine eyes are open upon all the ways of the Son of Men. Yeah. He sees everything you do, man. There's nothing that's insignificant in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim outside where he won't look at. Everything you do is being written down, is being noted by the Most High. To give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. So, like I said, when Yahweh Bashim Hawashai passed judgment on these Israelis, these so-called Jewish, he's only giving them the fruits of their doing. He's only recompensing them evil for the evil which they have done, and we all see. That's why I said no one's going to mourn them when their time coming. But that's all I had to say on that. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.